How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Mentor Monday. Mentor Monday is your weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. As we always do, you see this right here. This is what we love to do. We love to hear from you. So do me a huge favor. If you found that Mentor Monday is helpful, you've learned some things, it's helping you grow as a coach, grow your coaching practice. I want you to do me a huge favor and like this post and comment. Those things tell Facebook and YouTube that we're doing a good job. And if you've ever been around here any length of time, you know that nothing that we do on a Monday night is fluff. We're very committed to you growing as a coach. We have a four-word mission statement at Life Coach Training Institute. It's proficient coaches. We want you to grow into coaching proficiency, be a brilliant, amazing coach, help people get breakthroughs, all of that. But we also, the other part of our mission statement is thriving practices. We want you to succeed as a coach. And that's what we do in all of these things. We want you to succeed. And when I say that, I want you to make money. I want you to be able to leave that 9 to 5. And I want you to be able to do what it is that you love, which is helping people and helping them get breakthrough and get paid for it at the exact same time. Now, again, do me a huge favor. Let us know that you are here. And we want to hear from you. Also, like this post and share it. It tells Facebook and YouTube that we're doing a good job. Let me give you a heads up on a couple of things that are coming up, and it's the quickest way to knock out your certification. You see this on the ticker. I'll talk more about it in a little bit. But we have coming up October 5th, we started a new thing here called the one-day training accelerator, where you're able to knock all of your training out in a single day. You just have to turn in your assignments and take the exam after the conclusion of it, but you knock all of your training out in a single day. How do you do that in a single day? Well, it's curated training. So we took all of our training, we boiled it all down, we took out all of the extra stuff. We also, on those days, don't do Q&As. So what we do is that you come in with your group of people in your particular cohort and you knock it all out in a single day. One of the opportunities that it also gives you is that you're able to connect with other coaches who are part of the training that day. And you're also invited to Tuesday night coach training, which is live every Tuesday for the next year. So you can come on there, ask your questions, and also take part in the latest training, as well as find other coaches who can hold you accountable, help you knock out those assignments and those other things. We also have coming up October 18th through the 20th, our regular 3-day boot camp. What do we do in the boot camp? We go Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. We knock all of the training out in a single weekend. We have live Q&As at the end of each one of those sessions. We have role playing as a part of that. So either way, these are the fastest paths to certification, because you can either do the 1 day, knock out your assignments on your own, or you can do the 3-day and turn your assignments in at the end of that weekend and knock out your certification. Either way, we are the school that exists for busy people, not just busy professionals with work, but you've got a busy life. Most of you, you got a lot of plates spinning: kids, family, job, all of the other things. Matter of fact, even right now, just so you know, we're not live tonight because my daughter is in volleyball season and I've missed already a couple of her games, which is a real bummer. But we worked so hard on things this weekend. I've got to get up there and see her, and it's about an hour away from where we live. So, thinking of you guys ahead of time, that's why we knock these things out so that I could be continuing to pour into you while also pouring into my own daughter. So, what are we talking about? It's a brand new series, because I have to circle back to this one because it's a constant. It is an ongoing question that I get from coaches. And this particular issue right here is the biggest bottleneck that I see for coaches that keep them from being able to get the clients that they should be getting. And what we're going to be doing over the next 6 weeks, that tonight is going to be the introduction to it, is that we're going to talk about how to choose your niche. And we're going to get into the strategies and the specifics of being able to do that. But tonight, I really need to make an argument for why you actually do need to choose a niche. I know that many of you, you're coming in and you're just like, why? And we use the term pretty loosely in terms of life coach. And here's what I would say: life coaching, the skills of coaching are transferable and they can really work with anything. That's why we are Life Coach Training Institute, because it's the same skills, it's the same competencies that you are learning that all coaches do. However, we need to talk about the need that we have of choosing a niche, which is choosing a specific group of people and a specific problem in order to serve them better and to grow our businesses. So, and granted, I say niche. I know a lot of people like to say niche. You like to say tomato. I like to say tomato. So you're going to hear me mispronounce it and say niche. So we're going to be talking about choosing a niche, which is really comprised of two parts. The two parts of choosing a niche, I'll actually whiteboard it for you really quickly. Let me see if I can grab that real quick. Um, since I didn't do this ahead of time, I will do it right now. Your niche is going to be two parts. The two parts of a niche, and we will dial into it more over the next few weeks, is really going to be a people. What is a niche? It is a people. It is a certain group of people that what makes this group of people, if I had a little group here, what brings them together, what makes them a niche, and is something that is similar, and it could be a lot of different things. It could be desires, it could be problems, it could be you know age, it could be they were all professionals, they are all moms. There's a lot of different ways that you could define what your people are, but there's going to be specific characteristics that define who this group of people are. The other part that I would say is a niche is a common problem. There is a problem that brings this group together. See, look at that little sad face over here. There's a problem that brings this group of people together. And not just that, is that there is a solution that you are bringing to this group of people. This is what a niche is. It is a people that have a particular problem. I like to always say this is a high quality problem that they want to solve, and your coaching is what brings the solution to those things. So we'll unpack how we do that, but I just need to give you that definition so that we're all on the same page in terms of what is our working definition of these things. What we're talking about specifically tonight is I need to build a case for why you need to have a niche. And what I'm talking about is the problem with being a jack of all coaches. When people say jack of all trades, what do they usually finish that with? They'll say, I'm a jack of all trades, but I'm a master of none. I wonder how many of you would say, yes, that's kind of said that about myself or whatever. Well, here's what happens with a jack of all trades. A coach who is a jack of all coaches is going to struggle in terms of finding and getting clients and everything else, because the problem with who they are, because I just marked that out in terms of what a niche is, the people group is ambiguous. We're unsure what you're coaching, who it is that you help. And your coaching, it's not really clear what problem that it solves. And so what solution are you actually bringing to the world? And so a jack of all coaches is going to have a problem getting clients because they're already too vague. They're already too ambiguous. And so there's nothing really clear about anything that they do. I mean, this is why life coaches lead with things like live your best life. Well, that doesn't sell anybody anything. What does that even mean? I guess if you're wanting to make me put the work in, I can probably come up with what living my best life would be. But you should just talk to me about that then, you know? So live your best life for some people might be some kind of achievement. Some might be getting out of debt. Some might be making more money. Some might be changing careers. Some might be getting married. Some might be having children. Some might be traveling. I mean, there's a lot of different things that could actually be, or a combination of things. And so, a jack of all coaches, if you've ever watched a coach who is a jack of all coaches, you never know what they're going to be talking about next. You go on their social media, they're talking about everything. You go on their website, they're talking about everything. If you're on their email list, they talk about everything. And you go on their YouTube and they're talking about everything. So it's really, really unclear. So it's a constant scramble, and they're throwing out a really, really big net and they're catching nothing because nobody knows what they're about and no one's actually resonating with them. So we're going to talk in some specific details of, and I want to build the case of why you don't want to be a jack of all coaches. And then over the next few weeks, I'm going to help you choose your niche. Okay. Now, first thing, is that being a generalist actually keeps people out. Now, this is counterintuitive for many of you because many coaches want to be a life coach and be a generalist because they're afraid to be specific because they're like, well, I don't want to leave possibilities of business out. And what happens is that a coach, when they're starting out, they feel really, really scarce. They're not really certain in many cases who they are. And it's just like, well, where am I going to find clients? And they're basically kind of lowering the bar of like, if you have a pulse and you have money and you want to work with a coach, I will work with you. But that big net actually does not serve you really well. And here's the reason why. Here's the reason why big net doesn't work. You see that right there? What is that exactly? Can anybody tell me what that is? Can anybody? Well, here's the question. Can anybody specifically tell me what that is? Or are you generally telling me what that is right now? Anybody who's looking at this can only tell me, generally speaking, what this is or what it looks like. What does it look like? It looks like a commercial building. And you know what? If you said that is a commercial building where business, some sort of business is transacted, I would agree with you. That's actually what I was looking up when we found this stock image. But the reality is that these days there's all kinds of different things that will find themselves in a commercial space. It could be food, it could be a drugstore, it could be a church these days. You just never know what's actually going to be in there. And every now and then you'll see a building that's customized in a certain kind of way that looks a certain way that you're like, I bet I know what that is. You look at some buildings, you're like, that used to be a Pizza Hut from the 70s. And you're right, because they look a certain way. I bet that used to be the Mexican restaurant in town because it has a certain architecture, and usually arches and things like that, you know? Oh, I bet that used to be a Walgreens. Why? Because a Walgreens, they build them all the same. I bet that used to be a Walmart because the old Walmarts used to follow a certain style or something like that. And so you might have a guess of what they used to be, but you don't know what they are now because, well, it's missing something. What is it that they're missing? Can anybody tell me what's missing from this commercial property? It's got windows, it's got a roof. It looks like it's very well done and it looks really pretty, but I'm sure that all of us could probably agree that the one thing that this thing is missing is a sign. This is really clear. Have you ever been? I wonder if you've ever been to a business park or something, and they told you what the suite number was, and then you drove up and it looked something like this. Maybe not so nice in design and stuff, but when you go to find a business, you're not looking for suite numbers. If a business only has suite numbers and they're in this business park. This happened to me literally just a few weeks ago. If somebody, they might actually watch this. I'm not going to mention who you are, but the business just recently moved. And I went into the wrong business park and drove around there and looked around and like, there is nothing in here. This doesn't look right. And I called them up and I was like, here's what some things look like. And he's like, no, I think it's over here. It's next to a thing that looks like this. Go down another street, still really nondescript. There's nothing obvious. And I'm looking at street numbers. Now, my friend, their business just moved. And that's a good excuse because you just moved. So people got to get to know. And you know what happens after you get moved in a place? Then you start making it your own. And so sometimes the sign is sometimes the last thing that goes. But if you notice that people, businesses, and franchises that have a lot of money, a lot of times, as soon as they can, they will put a sign out there, even a temporary sign, that this is what's coming. Here's where you need to come to get a hamburger. Here's where you need to go to get these hardware supplies or whatever. And it builds an expectation because people are starting to see this. And over time, like, when is that place ever going to open? And then it opens. But the sign, what does it do? It directs people in. Tell somebody that something's coming. What does the sign do as well? Well, when people pull into a parking lot, they're like, when did that Barnes and Noble open up over there? Well, I'm going to go over there. Well, it would actually be hard because Barnes and Nobles are usually really big. But you know what I mean? When they see it, and you know what it does is it starts generating its own traffic. Even if you don't know the brand, if it's really clear what it is that the business does in terms of its activities and what it sells, then it's still going to draw traffic and looky-loos and people who are curious about certain things or whatever. This is not going to draw anyone. No one's going to go over there unless they're just like, well, I wonder what kind of a business. But this is not going to draw in business. You understand that, right? Because it's missing an obvious centerpiece. Here's the interesting thing is that the door has the door. Let's imagine that there's a business in here and the door has a door and all the product is in there, but no one knows that what they want is in there. No one knows who this is for, and no one knows what's happening in here. And this is what coaches who just are generalist life coaches do all the time, constantly, consistently. I have coaches in the past who have argued with me about this. When I said, Paul, and when I told them, hey, you really need to choose a niche. You need to get, like choose your who and in your thing and everything else. And I'd have people push back on me and be like, well, I don't understand why we need to do this. This is the reason why, because I watch coaches struggle who make this kind of mistake. Choosing a niche doesn't keep people from working with you. It doesn't shut the door. You just saw that business. I'll go back in time. See, a sign doesn't close the door, does it? A sign tells everybody where the door is. It usually marks the entrance. And this is why we need a sign, which is our niche. Choosing a niche opens the door for your coaching practice. A niche is exactly like putting a sign on your door, and it clearly tells people who this is for. And it clearly tells people what they can expect to find inside and that you are open for business. If you just say life coach, it is not clear who this is for. If you just say life coach, it is not clear what it is that they can find inside your business. If you just say life coach, we're not even sure what kind of a business that you're in and if it's something that I'm actually interested in taking part in. Like, I wouldn't go in any nondescript door unless I knew who this was for and what I can find inside. I don't want to take the chance on walking in and be like, dude, I feel really awkward. I'm not supposed to be in here. I'm not interested in buying any of these things. See what I'm saying? So, what a niche does is it gets the right people in, just like a sign does. The right people are going to come in the door. Conversely, here's what else happens it keeps the wrong people out because there are some people that aren't a good fit for coaching, aren't a good fit for us. We're not a good fit for them. There's a lot of things that I would say, generally speaking, but we don't want to start attracting people who need counseling and therapy. We're not, and so what we talk about is going to attract a certain group of people. And so we don't want people making the mistake because I understand people don't know distinctions of things and everything else. But the most important thing is I want to get the right people in. Last of all, businesses with signs get more business. Isn't that obvious? Businesses with signs get more business. Coaches with niches get more clients. I will say that again. Businesses with signs get more business. And coaches with niches get more clients. I don't even it would take me 2 seconds to prove it, but this is the thing that I consistently see. The people who will not choose a niche have a harder time getting clients. Not that it's impossible. You can. It's possible. Anything's possible. but I'm just saying that you're going to have a challenge with it. Let's keep going though. Second thing, helping everyone equals helping no one. What am I even talking about? Well, here's what I'm talking about is that specialization is trending, and it's actually been trending for a really really long time. Let's think about it just from a medical standpoint. Used to be that and this is the olden days that they'd call the doctor. Hey doc, it was funny. I was flipping around on our screen, and it had different apps. And one thing that it was like Little House on the Prairie was on there. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember this show, but it was set like in pioneer days, long time ago. And they had a doctor named Doc Baker. He's the only doctor in the entire town. And what he would do is he would always carry the little doctor bag, the little leather bag. And when he would see people, he would do a certain examination and he would have like a stethoscope and stuff like that. But he didn't have a whole lot of things inside of that little bag. But that's what he would do. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I remember this accurately, but he might have actually, looked at people's animals as well. I don't know for sure, but all I know is that he was a one size fits all doctor to help everybody in the entire town. Now, here's the thing. That is okay if you're trying to basically stop dying immediately. You know, like if you've got certain conditions and different things that are just kind of like what we'd say is they're acute, they happen in a moment. I got a broken arm, I've got various kinds of things that are sudden but are at least immediate. I can keep you from dying. But even back then, I think they were like, dude, if you want real treatment, you're gonna have to go to Chicago for this. You're going to have to go somewhere else where they actually have a real hospital and stuff, because this is way beyond anything that I know, and I don't have the instruments to do it and everything else. We understand this these days when we go see a primary care. And it seems like these days that primary cares, besides the sniffles and some of these basic kinds of things, refer you very quickly. Because if you don't get referred to someone else, well, you're not going to get the kinds of treatment that you need. You're not going to, they can't solve all the problems, but they can solve some problems, but they can't solve all the problems. They usually know and have a clue and are aware of some of the other problems, but it doesn't mean that they have the training, nor do they have the experience to do anything about it. So the safe thing that they do is that they send you to somebody who is what? A specialist. And here's what I would say when it comes to coaching. Coaching is general enough. You literally could help anybody because it is a powerful skill. It's a powerful thing that we do that can help a lot of different people. I've found all kinds of different people that have been able to help. But people are naturally going to gravitate to who they think can help them better than other people. Who can help someone better that is wanting to make a career transition? If you are wanting to make a career transition, are you looking for a life coach or are you looking for a career coach? Are you looking for a career coach or a mid-career transition coach? Ooh, what is that? That sounds more like where I'm at. Not just making it, because I'm not just some 20-year-old that's trying to make a career change from this to this. I've been in a career for a while. So no, maybe I'm looking for a mid-career. What about, because I've seen coaches do this, what about a career transition coach for people in a particular industry? I've seen people do that. People who are doctors who are getting ready to do something, attorneys who are ready to do something else. I've watched coaches who have literally grabbed and niched down. And here's the thing is that the more that you niche down, you're not, it's true that in terms of the masses, like, hey, there's 8 billion people on the planet. Yes. Could coaching help everybody? Yeah. Generally speaking, a life coach could help everybody, right? Um, the fact that you can help everybody, what do we know in terms of the doctor in the medical profession? You know that someone who specializes, you'd know that a neurologist is making more money than other people. Specialized. Are they going to work with as many patients as a primary care? Absolutely not. They'll still have a full load. They'll still be busy. You know why? Because they're specializing. They'll still be busy and they'll be making more money, and you can actually work with fewer people and make a premium as a result of it. So, in this same thing, that when you niche down, you may be not catering to the masses, but what happens is that your pay goes up as you are dealing with a more dialed in group of people. Some people you are simply better equipped to help. And that's something that we're going to talk about over the next few weeks. There are some people that you are going to do a better job of helping than others. Specialization also is respecting the fact that some people you're more passionate about helping. Listen, you don't want to just be trading time for money. You don't want to get into scarcity and just coach everybody that has a pulse. I did that coming out of the gate because I'm like, I'm a certified coach. Does anybody want to coach? And then I had all these people who were contacting me and stuff. And I remember coaching one person, and it was a drag. Like, it was not fun. I'm like, how did this happen? This, like, I have other clients. This is really enjoyable and it brings me to life. And this is just like, it's work, like it's effort. And I feel like I'm doing it for the money. And over time, I had to wrap that coaching relationship up um, for my sake and for theirs. Because here's what I would say: your clients deserve to have somebody who is in love with who they are, believes in them, loves their problems, loves their process, all of these other things. And listen, you're not going to love everybody's problem. You're not going to love everybody's process. So, you know what you should do? You should choose the people that you're most passionate about and the processes that you love helping people and the challenges that they're having. You will have more impact, and you will do your best work with specific people who have specific problems. And you want every day to feel great about what you're doing and to get extraordinary results. This is the key to that. Now, lastly, no one knows what coaching is. Sorry to tell you, it's been around for quite a while now, but no one knows what coaching is. But they do know what their own problems are. I'm not trying to say that I'm not trying to be a downer about the fact that people don't know what coaching is. But have you ever seen a coach try to explain what coaching is? A coach trying to explain what coaching is will sit around talking about what it's not. Well, it's not therapy and it's not counseling and it's not me trying to give you advice and telling you what to do. Well, what the heck is it that you do? You just confuse people. Don't talk about what it's not, talk about what it is. But even with that, coaching is very hard to sell when you're just talking about coaching. So I know if I'm dealing with really bad coach marketing, if I go on a coach's website and it says stuff like live your best life or the boldest version of yourself or the best version of yourself, and it has a definition of what coaching is, and they're sitting there trying to explain something. Listen, if you're trying to educate somebody on something that you're selling, that's an uphill climb you do not want to do. And when somebody comes on your website and you're trying to convince them and educate them on why they need you and what you are, but you can't even be clear enough to as to what it is, you're never going to sell those people. So here's what people do know: they don't care. They don't care about. Listen, when people start with a coach, they don't even know whether the coaching's actually particularly different than counseling, therapy, or anything else. All they know is that they've got a problem that they want to solve. So you remove the need to educate people on things, on what coaching is, or even necessarily to explain what coaching is to people, because you'll just lose them and confuse them. What you want to be selling people on is the fact that they have a problem that they already want to solve. They're already thinking about it. That means that most of the sales is out of the way because they're already convinced they have a problem. They live your best life is not going to convince anybody of anything, but there's a problem that everybody's thinking about in their life every day. If it's somebody who's looking for a career coach, they may not know that career coach exists, or it's a thing or whatever. But every day that they're looking at their paycheck and they are taking on more responsibilities, the economy is what it is, and inflation is gone like it is, and they're not making more money. They know that they've got to make more money. That's their problem. Bring a career coach or some sort of a coach like that starts talking about making more money and making a pivot and all of these other things, then maybe they find some people who are like, oh, wait, I didn't know that there was a thing that could actually help me get a solution in this particular area. Your ideal client who you want to work with has a common problem. That's what a niche is. There is a problem. There's something that is painful in their life. I'm not talking about they need counseling and therapy. I'm saying there's something that they don't like, that is, it's taking their joy away. That's waking them up in the middle of the night. There's something that's kind of irritating. There's something because pain's a greater motivator than pleasure. There's just something that they want to solve. And that's what sells coaching. So we talk about that, and that coaching is actually the solution that they didn't know it actually exists for it. Coaching helps a lot of things. The problem with coaching is that yes, it's ambiguous. It's really unclear. And so no one knows what coaching is, and even coaches have a difficult time explaining it. And people don't buy coaching. What do they buy? They buy solutions to their problems. So, what does a niche do is that it clearly defines the problem, which piques the interest of your ideal client. So, if you know who your who is and what problems that they have, then I don't have to talk them into being interested because they're already self-interested. And so then they're going to find it. And the last thing is this is the higher quality problem that resonates, the easier it is to get clients. I'll say that again. If you can have a high quality problem that resonates with your client, it makes it easier to get clients. So we want something that is high quality, it's an urgent problem, and it resonates with with them. Obviously, they're just kind of like, "Oh, yes, you're reading my mind. You know exactly what it is." You know, so now that you've got my attention, I want to buy it if it looks like a great solution that how quickly can I get this? How quickly can I get I started asking questions like that. Well, that's great. How quickly can I get results out of that? How quickly can we work together? See, it makes it easier based on the quality of the problem and the urgency of solving it. And that's what we're going to really be unpacking over the next few weeks, is to help you choose a niche that does all of these things. Let's pay the bills really quick. I talked about this a little bit earlier. On October 5th, we're doing our 1-day life coach certification training accelerator. How are we doing all of our training in 1 day and for only $195? Here's what we did. We took our training and we took all of the fat out of it, and we kept the juicy morsels, the delicacies, all of that stuff. Where did that come from? I didn't plan that. So we put it all together. It's curated training. So we boiled it all down for a 12-hour training event that has 15-minute breaks between each session. So there's 7 sessions that we break up with 15-minute breaks. It basically allows you to go get your coffee or grab something to eat, come back, and then dive in. So it's a full immersion day of training. We don't do Q&As and we don't do a bunch of these other kinds of things. What we wanted to do is boil it down, because I know some of you are looking for training that's like that. How can I knock out my training as quickly as possible? And that's what we put together. At the end of that day, you'll be able to turn in your assignments as well as take the exam, and you earn your credential. Now, what you also get invited to is live Tuesday night coach training. And we're always live on Tuesday nights, where you get the latest version of the training. You can connect with me as well as other coaches. And what it does is it gives you the support that you need. I don't want you to be out there on your own as far as trying to figure this stuff out. But we do understand the need, because we've been asked, is there something that we can do for busy people? Like, you're busy in work and you got a busy life, and the weekends off don't really exist either. Or wouldn't you like to have Sunday off if you could have it? This is what this is for. That link is inside of the description of this video, and you can get enrolled. Now, we have our regular 3-day live online weekend boot camp. It's October 18th through the 20th. It's 7 powerful weekend sessions. And these are the full sessions. Session 1 is Foundations of Coaching. Session 2, the Anatomy of a Dynamic Coaching session. Session 3, How to Help Your Clients Get Extraordinary Results. Session 4, sorry about that. Session 4 and 5, How to Listen on a Transformational Level. Those are two sessions on deep listening. Session 6, how to ask powerful questions. And session 7, how to establish a growing coaching practice. Session 7 alone is worth thousands of dollars because I'm going to show you how to set up a business that sets you up right to really thrive and to crush it. There's also included over the weekend live coaching demos. There's also live Q&As at the end of every one of these sessions. What's all included? 7 live sessions with live Q&As and role playing. Brandable templates. One of the things that we include in all of our programs, including the one day, are brandable templates that you can edit inside of Canva. That includes coaching agreements, a welcome pack, all of those things. You'll also get the coaching tool starter kit. That's five tools to help you boost transformation. You're going to get question samples. Obviously, you're going to earn your life coach certification and get a certificate. And you're going to get replays and handouts as well as bonus live Tuesday training. That price is only $247, which is absolutely a steal. Both of these programs are available inside of the link of this video. You can just click on there and you can get on there and you can get enrolled in about 90 seconds. So we would love to be on this journey with you, take you farther than what we're talking about on Mondays. I know if you're here, you've been thinking about doing this thing. Let's do it though. Like seriously, the biggest months over the next 6 months, we're in them right now in terms of coaching business. November is going to be extraordinary. December is going to be extraordinary. January, and February are always huge, huge months. And so it's perfect timing to actually get this done, get it knocked out. We've made it as easy as you possibly can make it for you to do it from the comfort of your own home in an affordable way and to get it knocked out in a reasonable amount of time. So listen, I appreciate you guys all immensely. I plan on being back live next week. Mentor Mondays every Monday. For those of you who are already enrolled in our training, I will see you guys tomorrow night for Tuesday night training. So listen, I appreciate you guys all immensely. Have a great rest of your week and take care.